Hello, everybody. Hi, we've got a huge audience tonight. I'm so excited. Welcome to A Drink with Live. I am Catt Sadler. I'm going to toast to y'all right now. Go ahead, raise your glasses. This is the first time I've had a proper glass in my hand in weeks and even put on makeup for that matter, because I'm so excited about tonight's conversation. Welcome to the show if it's your first time. We are going to have a ball while all sipping something fabulous, of course. I want to thank our sponsor, Think Products, for making the whole experience possible as always. And I want to remind you guys, this is a virtual exchange. I'm going to be leading the questions, but we encourage all of you to go to the text box, go to the chat, get your questions ready for tonight's guest. Stick them there throughout the conversation because I know you're going to want a piece of this phenomenal woman. I am so excited, truly, because our guest tonight is the epitome of strength. She is driven, she's ambitious, she's proven successful, decades in the business. Her craft is just the envy of all. She is one of a kind, and she's my friend. How lucky am I? Please welcome Tracy Anderson to A Drink With.
Catt Sadler. I wish I could just jump through the screen and, thank you for that. I'm so happy to be here with you on so many levels.
I can't even tell you, on all the levels. Honestly, cheers. What are you drinking?
Cheers. By the way, cheers to you. I'm not sure that you should be drinking yet, but also cheers to how rude of COVID to come into your system so uninvited like that. How rude. Thank you for that.
It was not invited. You're right.
Oh, man. Oh, Catt.
And this is sparkling water for the record. Sparkling water. We're not doing the alcohol thing quite yet.
I'm like, I'll drink it for you, Catt. I'll drink it for you.
She's got the whole bottle. I love it. I have to tell you, the response when we announced that you were going to be on the show was through the roof. Everybody wanted to be here and be a part of this and get access to you. And I think what is so cool, it's weird because I have seen you on my TV when I've been doing my Tracy Anderson method in the online studio through most of the pandemic. And I'm guessing that a lot of the people that are with us tonight also do your method. But I just have to tell you how much what you do, I know you've heard this before, but it truly is life-changing. And you and your work and your team and what you bring to the screen for so many of us literally got us through the pandemic. I mean, it was the only way I could move and feel alive and feel healthy. So tell us how that was for you on the other side of that, kind of leading the charge. Your business, you didn't shut down. I imagine you got even busier. So what was the last year or so? What's it been like for you?
Wow, thank you for all of that. For me, I think that I feel like that there is, it's such an incredible moment to be presented with to be presented with a global, truly something that is affecting every human being on the planet. And to kind of, have been in the wellness space as long as I've been in it, I really do feel like because I was so hell-bent 20 years ago to carve out a path that hadn't been carved out, to dedicate to pioneering a new language that hadn't been thought of before for that strategic purpose, it didn't feel like I was on such foreign territory, to be honest. My business was faced with the same thing that every business was faced with. And my partners at the time were like, hey, not ill-intended, just like, hey, we're going to have to cut salaries and we're going to have to cut jobs. And for me, I was like, no, that's not happening. I was like, wait, whoa, I haven't even given a chance to look at what I'm capable of, look at the possibilities. Like, just hold on a minute and I'll get back to you. And I thought about what we were all going to be faced with, the information that I know about the state of the health that the world is in. America is not really a leader in the health department. And I also know that a lot of studies and statistics and doctors out there have to basically give people, not that they're trying to do them a disservice, but when you're going to take care of your health and you're really putting yourself in a box of like the statistics, we're not really preventative in our healthcare system. Okay. In fact, we benefit from not being preventative in a lot of ways, which is truly unfortunate. So I was like, listen, how can I help people? Like, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I really be of value? How can I help? And how can I keep all of my employees totally employed? Because that was like, huge responsibility. And so I thought how disconnected we were all going to feel, how people that haven't been moving, how important it was going to be for them to move and to process, because processing our stress physically is so vital, and processing ourselves physically with truth and not being hijacked by a trend or by someone that's trying to financially gain off of our insecurities, even more so important. So I decided to give up all of my weekends and commit to creating 4 more hours of content on top of the already committed content that I create every week. And I got a concert stage. I called up like a venue and I was like, hey, do you have any stages for rent? And they were like, you know that nobody's putting on concerts anymore, right? I'm like, yeah, but I want to. And I put this stage at my fiance's ranch in Florida. And I just hosted these live sessions that were 2 hours long every single weekend. And that meant that I could connect with people more. I could keep us all like even more connected. I could start producing this ECSOD in people, which is a proven hormone that can only be generated by us using our muscles in a really truthful way that protects us and our immune system from being taken down. And I can also keep everyone employed. And that's what happened. And I'm grateful for that. I didn't have to let anyone go. I didn't have to cut anyone's salary, not even by a dime. And I could let all my trainers be home. I could let everybody go home and still pay them. And even if they couldn't serve anyone at the time. And then I think that the community really got tighter because of it. And I do believe that people we're stronger with processing it. Sorry, that was a really long
Bravo.
answer.
Well, no, but I'm glad you said that, because I did wonder, because at the beginning I was like, ooh, we're outside. It feels like we're in a jungle. I didn't know where you were. I'm always trying to I'm sure all your followers are kind of like, ooh, where are we now? We're on a stage. Now we're in a theater. Now we're in it looks like we're in Asia at some Japanese cool, modern studio. It's so fun. But you know what I think a lot of people, and let's assume some of the people here tonight may or may not do the method or know the details about what you do. But I think what people would be surprised to learn, and you just kind of alluded to it, the type of person that you are, what you offer goes beyond the physical and the fitness and this, achieving balance, which you're so very much about in all of our bodies. But one of my favorite things about what you share is this chat at the end, because although it's sometimes about the work and the practice and the method, you also really do give life advice, and you're very much a cheerleader for people, and you're very much this light where I think this week you were saying I was watching from bed. I wasn't doing the workout this week, but I was checking in on you. And you were talking about creating space. So
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit, because, everybody is at varying degrees of their fitness regime and where they are at in their fitness journey. But just about why that's such an important component for you. And I think for everybody today in particular, with what's going on in the world and, this resurgence of cases, exhibit A over here, why the mind-body connection and our mental health is so incredibly important, more than ever.
Yeah, I thank you for that. I I started just touching upon these things very, unedited and raw and relating it to the work because it is all connected. It's all connected. We unfortunately being a product of so many broken systems that have compartmentalized us into these, denatured spaces. Um, it's all connected. You can't say, here's my work life over here. Here's my home life. Here's my this life. Here's my workout life. And most people's workout life looks like you don't know anything about your body. Pay me and I'm going to show you how to squat and how to lunge and how to lift and all these things. And the truth is that we have a primal right to move. And if people can start to realize that and explore and discover and find for themselves, with someone like me that has I've got this strategy, right? I look so crazy. Sorry. I have this whole language that I've created, right? All of this research, it all stems from, I've done the largest study in fitness on women. I studied things that no one's getting a grant to study, right? Can you take any woman from any genetic background and turn them into their most balanced self time and time again, year after year? And it's crazy that we're talking now too, because I just had this extensive physical today. Because that both of my children lost their biological fathers at 48 years old, one from a heart attack and one from a glioblastoma, right? So I'm all about being preventative, right? So I did this extensive physical today that I actually asked them. I was like, can I have some wine tonight? Because I have a date with a friend. They're like, yes. But I have, knock on wood, it says that way. I have the body of the health of a 20-year-old. I'm 46, right? And you don't get that going through the life events that I've gone through, going through, working out as long as I have, with mistreating your body or not communicating and processing through your physical self in a really honest way. And unfortunately, most available things out there for us love to play on the fact that somewhere in our history, someone told us that we couldn't move. We didn't make a cheerleading team. We got made fun of at soccer. Someone said we couldn't dance. We wanted to play tennis, but we were told we didn't have the body or whatever it is, or gymnastics. Somebody told us that we should think twice again before we move or before we wear something or whatever. So it's not our fault that we start to go, oh, well, you know what? I'm really good at math. I'm going to just do this. Or I'm really good at painting, or, maybe I shouldn't move again, or, or my physical fitness program at school got canceled and I used to love to play kickball, but then it was just gone one day, So we are born into this world being physical beings that are driven by adrenaline and curiosity. And as soon as we learn that we can fall down, and as soon as we learn from other people, oh, maybe you should move like that. Actually, I'm going to put you in dance, and dance class is going to teach you how to move because you don't know how to move, right? We just physically become distanced from ourselves. And then when you become an adult, you hire a trainer, or you go to a training program, or you hire a good looking, you're like, oh, that girl's cute. She can move. I want to look like her. Or even worse, that celebrity does that. I want to look like that celebrity. So I'm going to do what they're doing. And you're just back in the same bad pattern of not communicating with yourself, not empowering yourself, and denying your primal right to move. So if I can, I don't even remember your question. I'm sorry, but if I can teach anyone anything, it would be, you have a primal right to move. You know how to move. You don't really need anyone to teach you how to move. You do know how to do it, but my work is solely focused on, okay, you can make yourself look like a bodybuilder. Why can't you make yourself completely balanced without doing any damage to your joints, without doing any damage to anything else, without causing accelerated aging? Why can't there be a conversation that can consistently create balance where there's imbalance. So that's just what I've dedicated my entire study and practice to.
A primal right to move. I love that. That's so, so good. You are, I said it in the intro, you're just such a powerhouse, and we watch you, and you're like a machine. You're moving, you're doing, you're a mother of 2 kids, you're running the world. You got this business. It continues to grow. You continue to adapt and pivot and develop all of the time. When do you feel your strongest? What makes you feel strong?
Oh, that's a great question. For so many years, I denied myself this strength. I only just got this strength recently, as a matter of fact. I don't say when I feel like someone is doing me like I don't stand up for myself. I don't vocalize it. I take it and I go, I have empathy for the person. I say that I make excuses for the other people. I let people come into my world and make whatever mess they want. And I go, I can process it and I can clean it up. And it's only recently that I'm like, no, actually, you can't come in here. And no, actually, you can't make this mess here. And actually, this is the way this is going to go. That's only recent. And I feel stronger than I've ever felt because of that. I have felt physically very strong in my life, but I've sort of taken that strength for granted where I haven't made myself become, emotionally as strong as I was physically strong. Intellectually, I've always
Why
been.
do you think that? What did something happen? I mean, was there an awakening? Because
So
now
many things
you're drawing the
happen.
line in the sand.
So
We don't have time for that. That's when
you're making
you're like,
me
"Where's the
out
whiskey?"
here.
You're like, "I'll drink to that." Mm.
So many things happen.
Okay, well, regardless, I'm glad it happened because I know what you're speaking to, and that is, I think a lot of people are kind of going through that. Like, it's like there's this empowerment where it's like you're drawing the line in the sand, you're drawing the boundaries, you're saying what works for you. And it's interesting. Here we are. We're both 46 years old. Sometimes it's funny how that just happens as you do grow older. Midlife is like, it's like a real good time to just stop taking any shit. You know what I mean? It's just like,
I don't know about you, but I'm actually not 46. I'm 20, I learned today.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Well, gosh.
20. I said to my fiance who was with me, I was like, you're in trouble because I'm barely legal.
If that's not an endorsement for your business, I don't know what is, because you definitely look 25. Why do you think we're all standing there twisting our body and contorting? Because you look good, girl, no doubt.
It was a little disappointing because the doctor was like, I actually expected this from you given who you are. And I was like, come on, give me the, I'm 20 physically.
I want to remind our audience just real quick, because I know they have questions for you, to drop those in the text box. If you've got questions for Tracy, we'll get to those in just a minute. But I guess just before we get to their questions, because I know we don't have you forever, and I guess what stands out for me most about you is just, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, you were this pioneer who early on was kind of doing her thing. It was very much like you weren't like in line with everybody else in the fitness industry. You were really creating a new method. It was all your own. You definitely had pushback against that. There were definitely the haters. This is an industry. Everybody, is an expert all of a sudden. Everyone's critiquing everyone's practices and how they teach and what they do. And you have just managed to grow and grow. And like I mentioned, adapt. And now, you have products coming out. You do all these collaborations with your clothing. You are an entrepreneur in the truest sense, while changing people's lives and helping them, live their healthiest lives. So I guess if there's something you could share with everybody about what has served you or what has allowed you to do that, or maybe what you've learned along the way that has allowed you to still not just be in the game after how many ever years, but to be at the top of the game and to be so respected and so successful. Like, what is the sauce? Now, try to say that in 30 seconds.
I'll say it first, right? it comes from a radical honesty, I think. And I did not set out to be an entrepreneur. I did not set out to make one dime off of this. I truly had personal pain from gaining so much weight at school for dance on a scholarship, where my mom, who I love so dearly, who was just here with me, she, my mom divorced. I caught my dad cheating on my mom when I was younger. But my point is that my mom's world fell apart when I was 17, and she worked 3 jobs to put me through school, and I gained 40 pounds at school for dance. And they were just like, make weight, just make weight. And I'm like, what do you mean make weight? Like what? No tools. And then, Eric, my Sam's dad, who was just like the most amazing, incredible human being ever. And he was so generous to me and supportive of me. And it was through him that I met these doctors that were like so about the spine. This one doctor in particularly that was like just such an advocate for spine health. And it is because the way that I birthed this line of energy, the way that I created this was so true to just going, how can I help? How can I take this information, this aha moment or whatever, and help people like I want to help people? And that it's only ever been that. How can I really truthfully help people? And I think that the problem is that in my industry or in the beauty industry or in so many industries, it becomes, oh, how can I do something great that people might want that I can make a shit ton of money off of? And to me, that just falls flat. That's a moment in time. I have stood by this when there's been no money in it for me. I have stood by my studios and my staff when I had to go train tons of celebrities and put the money into the payroll. Like I've never, ever, ever like turned my back on my purpose, on my mission, or on my audience. And I feel like you're the same. I don't think you ever got into, communications or broadcasting or anything for fame or anything else. Everything that I've ever seen or known of you is that you want to communicate, you want to make connections with people, you want to inform people and inspire people. And that's why you've been able to break boundaries as a woman in a really perverted industry. And it is that. It comes from that place of real truth and real authenticity. You're not trying to make a buck off of anybody. You're not trying to get another follower or anything like that. You're really trying to serve. And it comes from that. People who are really trying to serve, I just believe, don't get discarded,
Yeah. Yes, I do.
That was not 30 seconds.
Woo, I know, but it was good. Let it roll. I am right there with you. Purpose-driven contributions, it's talk about healthy, it's healthy for us as individuals because we are getting up every day, getting to do what we love and feel like we are somehow serving. But then, it catches on, it's contagious, and it changes communities and the world and all that. And it's not always easy. And I love that you mentioned, your adversity. And my heart breaks that both of the fathers of your children have passed away. Like, who can even, what world, are we living in that you had that kind of luck and that your kids did, but you're out there, and look at you. I saw your 4th of July picture, kissing your man, fireworks, you found love again. Like, you're doing good. Like, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. He's the sweetest ever. And like to be able to, be a parent on the earth to 2 children, or well, Sam's an adult now, but even to Sam, like Sam lost his dad, who was the most incredible father ever, far too young, far too young. Yeah. And Chris is he's incredible. Yeah. I'm lucky.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we do have some questions from our amazing audience, and we're going to go to Mel first. And as we go to Mel, I just want to remind you to make sure to unmute your microphone there on your computer so that Tracy can hear your question.
I can't promise drinking I'm going to give the best advice, but I'll try.
Oh, it's going to be fabulous. Mel, are you there? Let's find.
Yes. Hi. Mel. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, aren't you gorgeous?
Tracy.
Hi, Mel.
Well, I wore a tube top for you. You
look hot.
Tracy, my question for you is that in this climate, And in this world that we're in, this, hybrid, something's opening up, it's still virtual and still at a time when it feels like our time isn't our own. What is the best way to, what I wanted to ask is what's the best way to stay motivated? But really it's almost like sometimes I feel like I can forget how good it feels to feel good. And so how do I, invite myself back to my body, or remember those routines and remember that method and the consistency that you preach so much? Like, how, with all of these distractions, do we stay consistent?
That's a great question. Can I ask you how old you are in front of everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how old my body is, but legally I'm 32.
You're 32. You look like you are maybe 21. So great. Okay, so you're 32. Where are you in your life? Are you single?
I'm in a relationship. I'm in a committed relationship. I don't have kids.
Okay. So I think that it's very important to recognize how this, lockdown of life affects people differently depending on where they are in their life. And we are naturally people that we crave connections, right? And I think that the most difficult part of this has been people that have felt like, their time is being, look, every second that any of us have is really a gift anyway, but that their time, it's just such a shock to be like, oh wait, all of these things that I want to be doing, I can't do anymore, and rearrange and all that. It's an incredible shift. And I think that when you are able to not think about the future and not think about what the past was, but to truly, it's going to sound so like the power of now, but really like the power of now, go like, right now, how can I, honor my life and be resilient and make sure that I do my part, because we're all programmed to want to live on one level or the other, no matter what we're going through or whatever we're feeling. That's what we are. And I think that not worrying about how many days you haven't moved or how many leg lifts you can do with me or anything like that. That's one of the reasons why a product that I launched, years and years ago for $90 a month just to be in my live class, I've never changed the price on it. And now I dropped 15 new electives for people during this time without raising the price. I invested more in the customer because I'm like, we need a morning stretch. We need an evening stretch. We need a chair program. All of these different things for people to just have 15 minutes to say to themselves, I can move. I can be here for this body. I can be here for all that I'm capable of. I can do this, and then from there, hopefully then you'll move on to beginner with me. And then all of a sudden you're moving on intermediate. And then you're like, wait, what? I'm like just this, incredible, like moving being, but you've got to be gentle with yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself, be, nurturing to yourself and be mindful of the day, right? Hey, as much as I want to watch like the 90-Day Fiance, which I just heard about, or, found love in lockdown or whatever. I've just heard of like all of these, like, we can all like just power watch all this stuff all day, but then what are we doing for ourselves? You know what I mean? Like you gotta just dive in, no judgment, no criticism, and no judgment of yourself while you're doing it. Just start moving, and it doesn't even need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be set no expectations. Just do it, I don't know if I'm really answering that.
No judgment, just do it. I'm a moving, capable body. I got you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And you're beautiful and great. And it's also part of letting your light shine as bright as you can. Also great for you on your journey with your partner, because the more physically connected you are, the better the sex is. So just keep doing it.
Hey. Oh, love it. Boom. Print it. Love that. Yeah, I think what you're saying too, Tracy, like being gentle with yourself and just being compassionate. And I love what you said, like be here now. If that's the reminder, don't shame yourself for what you didn't do then or what you might do next week. Just start with what you got, where you are now. Sorry, my dog would not be in the show. He's been like clawing at my ankles to the point he was scratching me, so I had to bring him up here.
You want me to let my 3 in here? We'll ruin the show right now. So cute.
Oh, I mean, this is what you get when you're at home. We have one more question from Claire. So Claire, we're going to kick it over to you for your question for Miss Tracy Anderson. Are you unmuted?
I think so. Hi, Tracy. Just want to say it's an honor to ask you a question. So my question's kind of coming because I was a Division I field hockey player. Post-graduating, I really,
I'm so God, we're getting dogs.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, with Division I.
No, so cute. So post-graduating, I really struggled with finding a fitness method that like got me out of where I had to perform. Because a lot of my muscle memory was like very bulky, right? And being a forward lunging position in field hockey. So I actually sent a note to your team around Christmas time being like, thank you, because I've never felt more confident in my feminine body in doing your method. And I started it on April 1st of 2020. So it's just totally made me feel amazing throughout this whole entire year. So my question comes about less about the method, because it's no questions there. Can you talk about the integration of your diet? And then also I remember you bringing up like the relationship with alcohol too on one of your talks, and how you're mature and having one glass of wine. So just talking about like, how do you refuel? How do you have good things in moderation? I'm just curious about it.
Yeah, that's so great. Also, thank you for saying that. I have had a lot of I have had to deconstruct and rearrange a lot of muscle that has previously been built in people for a purpose. Like, how amazing that you played at that level and that intensity. Like, that's remarkable that your body did that, and your body needed that. You know, you refer to it as bulk now, but it needed that to do what you were calling and asking it to do. And the willpower of an athlete is so powerful. And great that you're like, okay, that was a moment, and that moment has passed, and now what do I want to do with my incredible body? Like, that's amazing. And you didn't need that muscle mass there anymore, right? But to redesign muscle mass like that was a huge part of my research. So, you know, like a huge, huge, huge part of it, because that's not an easy thing to do. So with the diet, one of the reasons why I launched the magazine imprint was because, look, I'm never going to take a bunch of advertisers to make a bunch of money off of the magazine. The magazine has no advertisement because it is meant to really genuinely serve people without anybody else's agenda, right? So I'm bringing forward all kinds of, you know, recipes and all that I totally subscribe to and that I love, right? So for me in my life, I do enjoy like a glass or two of wine. Like, do I need to get drunk? No, I don't need to get drunk. You've got to look at your body like giving it the things that it needs and it deserves, especially in our very fast-paced, high-stress, manufactured world, right? So being able to say like, look, I'm going out there, I'm achieving, this is the world I'm living in. And you know what? And by the way, primally speaking, we would do all kinds of things that were very similar to liquor, to also like just let our stress go for a little bit. Let me just stop my like overly stressed thinking brain. But, you know, making sure that you do that in moderation is being nurturing to yourself. And actually, my good friend Dr. Habib Siddiqui taught me a long time ago. It's like nothing's all good and nothing's all bad. It's really how you incorporate it into your life. And also, you know, it's okay to need to like, you know, let down. So I don't, like I said though, but I don't, if as soon as you have too many drinks, it's like you go from nothing's all good to nothing's all bad until you start to get out of balance, and then it can shift from good to bad, right? So too much is just bad. You know that, right? So I do that with everything with my diet, right? So, but there are a few things that I definitely subscribe to, like very plant-based. I'm very plant-based. Information and knowledge is power. Genetically in my body, for instance, like we've got high cholesterol in my family. And so for me, as soon as like my good cholesterol was high, but my bad cholesterol started to creep up, I was like, oh, well, there goes my milk chocolate. I love it, but there it goes. Sorry, done. That's all I need to know. There goes my actual cheese that I love. Now I have to learn to like veggie cheese. Do I love it? No, I don't love it, right? But you find other things that you love, right? Like, so, but people are not willing to break their habits for the greater good of their health. They just wait until it's just too far gone or too late, and then it seeps into all kinds of lost opportunity for cancer prevention or this prevention. And somebody with the healthiest markers, if they're not managing their stress or they're not moving their body's process properly, or they're not actually facing, different stressors in their life in the right way, it can end up like that too. So, but my diet, I will say very, very quickly, I don't eat breakfast. I let go of breakfast. I have coffee with very foamy oat milk every morning. I do my workout, and then I make sure that I'm ready for lunch, And I've been recipe testing, so I've been lucky. I've had like help, but I have lots of times that I don't, and I make sure of that too. And it's then I'm chopping the kale and I'm chopping the cabbage. But you know what I do? I tell everyone else to just leave me alone. And this is where in the world, it's like, if you go to work, you do actually have a choice. If there's a lunch break that's an hour lunch break, you do actually have a choice in the evening or in the morning to like chop a salad for yourself, put it in a thing, take it to work, and just be like, you guys can all go to Taco Bell, but I'm not, And you can make those choices for yourself, and you can prepare. And then, so I'll do like a big salad with some kind. The only meat that I eat is I do eat some fish, even after Seaspiracy, I still eat some fish. I eat like I'll eat wild salmon or flounder. I'll even eat like a safe catch canned salmon sometimes too. Sardines, they're disgusting. I've found out different ways to make them not as disgusting, I guess. And then for dinner, I'll do fish and vegetables too, but I will have like some kind of chocolate in the afternoon. And my biggest weakness that I will have like is I love bread dipped in olive oil and salt. Like I love it. I love sourdough, whatever. But and then I'll have a couple of glasses of wine at night, But then I will also go some days, like if Chris is traveling or something like that, and I'm just home with Penny, I'm like, well, why do you need to have a glass of wine tonight? Like, yeah, you could probably play kid games a little more fun, but like, do you really need it? You don't really need it. So I'll just be like, no, I won't do it. It's about having that conversation with yourself, all the time. Is that helping?
Thank you so much. Yeah. First off, your magazine, I love your soup recipes, and I have your tuna caper recipe. So I love all the stuff that you put out there. So thank you so much for being an inspiration, Tracy. It's just truly.
Thank you. Thank you for just welcoming me into your life. I'm sorry, my answers are way too long.
No, I feel like everybody, I wish we had like 2 more hours, because I could keep going and I could keep asking questions. And now I need to know these recipes because I don't have the magazine. So I think we got to get that. I'm sure. Okay. Tracy, thank you. Thanks just for being so raw and so authentic and so just unapologetically who you are. There needs to be more of that. And you just come as you are. And it's just so fun to watch you. And it's been so fun to catch up with you. And can we please do this again sometime, with or without everybody here? But I miss you.
I love you.
Love you so much. We'll see you online at the studio. Everybody follow her on Instagram and make sure to check out her method if you have not yet. And of course, you can always watch our show here on unthinkable.com. A huge thank you to, of course, Tracy, but our sponsor, Think Products, one of my favorite snacks. And wow, we did it. We did it. I'm sorry, I was